Ladies and gentlemen, it is my very, very deep, sorrowful task to inform you that Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, uh, has passed away at 36 years old. Let me make sure that you are getting what I am telling you, folks. This is a very unfortunate event in the. Okay, you're getting what I'm telling you, folks. This is a very unfortunate day in the world of professional wrestling. This has been an unfortunate week in the world of professional wrestling. But yes, one Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, has passed away. He was somebody that was known to many of us throughout the world of wrestling and throughout many entertainment venues. He was a one of a kind talent. This coming just a day after the legendary Terry Funk passed away. This is a tremendously bad development in the world of wrestling. And this is one of those moments where, folks, I always remember to turn to John 14:1, and I'll read 1 through 6. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also, and you know the way to where I am going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And yes, folks, this is tremendously tragic. Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, aka The Fiend, aka Uncle Howdy, aka Husky Harris, aka so many amazing characters and so much amazing things that brought us together. And the Firefly entrance, if you were ever a part of it, it's really something. And here we are, folks. Wyndham Rotunda has now passed away. Um, Now, the unfortunate reality, and thank you for joining us, JE Wrestling. We don't know what it is. There's rumors abound. All I know is the two predominant rumors, and like let's respect the family's privacy, but the two main things that are just going around the internet at the moment, like I can't help it, is he was recovering from an undisclosed illness. And the one thing I don't like hearing is that he was battling mental health issues. And that's like, we'll find out ultimately what happened because he's just too public of a figure, unfortunately. But let's do respect the family's privacy at this time. It's just a tragedy. Man was so young, so much potential. It's like I'm basically Bray's age, and like there's times I think of myself as old, and like I'll sometimes like oh I was young once too, and then I kind of have those moments where perhaps I still am, which really just like folks in the comments, drop some of your favorite Bray Wyatt memories. Me and Tony actually got to see Bray Wyatt live in Houston, Texas in the Royal Rumble 2020 in a strap match against Daniel Bryan. And it was really something, I got to say. It was right before COVID. It was, remember when before COVID hit when you could go places and just do things and enjoy it? So I did get the honor of seeing Bray Wyatt live as The Fiend while he was Universal Champion. But the boomer is coming out. Can't help it. Can't help it. Well, actually, I'm technically a millennial. To be honest, at 36, the first two causes that came to my mind were drugs or myocarditis. Tony G, I'm floored. So glad we got to see him live in Houston. I know. I mean, yeah, me and Tony G right here in Houston live. I mean, we got to see one of the true legends because now his work is going to be looked back on as like revolutionary. There's going to be no like there's going to be so many people derivative of Bray Wyatt because he's going to now be as much like this is so strange, but like uh if you guys remember the band Milli Vanilli, one of the guys ended up dying um at a fairly young age. And the other guy talked about like so in a strange way he got his wish of he is now forever young. And so in that regard, Bray Wyatt is going to become like the Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain of the wrestling industry, in that like he died so young and there was so much potential there that it'll just always forever surround him. And that's so in that way, Bray Wyatt is now forever young. And literally, it's almost kind of apropos. As I'm talking about Bray Wyatt, like one of the biggest spiders I've ever seen in my life is crawling across my my ceiling. Like, and so it's like I can't even get mad at it right now. You know what I mean? Like it's just apropos. Uh, so I mean, like to me, also this is another thing that I like. I've never really mentioned this to Tony before, but um, Bray Wyatt was one of the guys that actually kind of led me back to wrestling because I remember, I believe it was 2015. It was Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, the last time they were ever going to wrestle. And it was. They actually held true to it. Um, and I'll never forget one of the matches before that was Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. And when I saw the Firefly entrance, it was. I knew wrestling had a chance. I knew there was a future. And that's why I always hated every time he got buried. Was it Millie or Vanilla? I'm not sure. Ben, it's his spirit, the spider. Wow. Wow. Nice. Nice, Ben. Nice. So that my memories of Bray Wyatt are definitely within my adult life. But even like when my daughter was growing up, just a little kid, we would watch Bray Wyatt come down to the ring and she would just be like wide eyed, like, what am I seeing here? Because, yeah, the Firefly entrance, the first time you show it to somebody, they're going to look at you like, what the fuck are you showing me here? And he somehow found a way to just tap into this. And like Jim Ross always said, the Firefly entrance is not a heel entrance, despite the fact that he was kind of a heel most of his career. But yeah, on the real side of things here, this man, complicated man, left behind a gaggle of children. I mean, quite a few children. So my prayers are with them most of all. Uh, like that's something that'll mark them for the rest of their lives, sadly. And we'll get back to Bray here a moment. We're praying for him and his family. But there's also, it bears mentioning the Funk family, Terry Funk. He was also like, let's be frank, anybody who was into wrestling that was my age or a little older, you loved Terry Funk. You just had like, for millennials, he was sort of like hardcore wrestling's grandpa. Okay, it's kind of like the Neil Young of pro wrestling, if you will. Kind of like the Undertaker, he was just always kind of an ethereal force. He was just always kind of there, you know, and there was a comfort in that, that no matter what, you could always count on death, taxes, and Terry Funk's going to come out of retirement if some mark pays him enough money. It was comforting. It was, you knew Terry was going to do it. Wow. Um, and I'll never forget. Like I loved his ECW run. Like I loved everything that had to do with mid to late '90s ECW. I was just down. And Terry Funk, he kind of made ECW because it's something that's definitely missing. Like AEW might be kind of close to it, but it's not quite there. And it's something that the wrestling business has always needed, and Terry understood it. They need a place for where old stars can be reborn and new stars can be made. And that's what ECW was. Um, yes, rest in peace, Terry and Bray. So right now, I remember somebody said it pretty well. Like this is a good one. Right now, Bray and Brody are tagging in heaven against Terry and Briscoe. Like, and I was just like, oh, that's a beautiful image there. That's a beautiful image. I do hope and pray that that's true. I truly do. Um, let's see. Reaper, there was no ECW without true. Without Terry, we would not have had an ECW that would have made it as far as it did. Um, Chris Kane. It's weird how in his feud with LA Knight, someone say Bray was outshined. Maybe that was also a sign that Bray wasn't in good health. That is very true. It's kind of like I remember Jim Cornette talked about how he was giving Brody Lee a hard time about his work rate. He's like, well, I mean, now I got to give him a pass on all of that because I didn't know he was this ill. Clearly, he was pretty ill because he's not alive anymore. And so it's like, well, yeah, you kind of gotta give him that. I mean, just it's a tragedy. It's a modern day Othello. It's a tragedy, no matter how you want to look at it. It's just, and I like there is no good way here. Like because we've been hearing that he's been battling this illness for a long time, and I've been hearing like I don't even want to feed the rumor mill, but I've been hearing that like it's either like some sort of like legitimate like just like medical illness, or some people are saying was he battling a mental illness, and that's like oh no, please no, because regardless, Bray left behind a gaggle of children, and that's just tragic. So I pray for those children most of all. I pray that because like Terry's kids, they're all fully grown. They got kids of their own. Like Terry was a grandpa, and I think even a great grandpa. Okay, so he lived the benefits of a good full life, and he has now gone home in Christ. Okay, like from what I was understanding, he was also very very active in his local church towards his retirement. So yeah, like Terry did it right. Bray, though, this is just tragedy. This is too young. This is too young for a man like of his stature, his standing at the peak of his career. Literally, like only like in terms of creative, only the best was yet to come. Like he was a little disheartened by what happened to the Fiend because he poured his heart into that character. But here we are. Here we are. Like I said, I think he's going to go down as like the Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain of wrestling because he was stricken down in his prime with so much more to give. And people are always going to wonder, like, what would have happened. Kind of like a Brian Pillman. Wow, a lot like a Brian Pillman. And think about it, like in the video games, people are going to be playing as the Fiend for the next 30 years. Okay, like he's like the Fiend as a character worked, and that's gone way too soon. So true, so true. Chris goes, "Yep, Bray is like an anomaly of wrestling," which was why when he was out of his contract for a little while, everyone was so looking forward to seeing what he was going to do in AEW. And I'll be honest, I made jokes like, "All right, he's going to show up as the villain is debuting in AEW, not the Fiend, you see, but the villain." That's just the same thing, but like a handlebar mustache on it, like the villain. But goodness gracious. Now, folks, like I said a little earlier, one of my favorite memories of Bray was at Houston at the Royal Rumble, but the other one was like I was kind of getting into was 2015 watching him against Roman Reigns when I was like, this guy's got a chance. This guy has a legitimate chance. And now I'll never forget the one thing, the biggest disappointment in wrestling for me, actually, the biggest disappointment in wrestling was Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt Hell in a Cell. Like I literally drove across the state to see that match, just that match, because I'm in Nebraska and I was doing some farm work in Lexington, and where I live is about an hour and a half away from Lincoln. And so that's like basically the other side of the state. And I drove all the way across the state just to see that Hell in a Cell match. I know what a lot of you are thinking. I probably should have just saved my gas, but like I was so pumped to see the Fiend take the Universal title. Yes, I'm also in the future as well. I know how that ended. It was not good. But that was the one, like I'm gonna say, like Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, was the last true character that WWE ever created that the fans truly invested in. If you can think of another one, I would love to hear it, folks. Um, in terms of Terry Funk, my favorite memories of Terry are pretty simple. Like I said, the ECW run, and also me and Tony watching the barbed wire death match with Violent J and Shaggy Two Dope of the Insane Clown Posse doing commentary. It was ridiculous. It was hilarious, and it was also a good match. So that was one of my favorite Terry Funk memories. And yeah, I even like this Chainsaw Charlie run. It's so sue me. Chris, Bray promos against Reigns were definitely underrated. If you go back and watch those promos, it's almost prophetic how Bray versus Roman could be if Bray faced the tribal chief Reigns. Yeah, like that was the thing. Cut such a good promo. The problem is they never let him back any of it up. Like he would just be like, and let me tell you about the world that's about to be eaten. And then he just eats another pin. Got to the point where when he called himself the Eater of Worlds, people started calling him the Eater of Pins. So that was truly unfortunate. But folks, this is a tribute, if you will, a celebration of life, a our own personal way of outpouring to all the fans of Bray Wyatt, of Terry Funk, and also to every member of the Rotunda and Funk families. You are all busy. Like none of you are watching this, nor should you. You're in mourning for your loved ones. But regardless, there are prayers going out to those families because this is. Uh, Terry Funk was sad. It's sad, but Bray Wyatt's a tragedy because, like, Terry Funk got the benefit of a good, full, long life, and we know he's gone home in Christ. Bray Wyatt's this is a man in his prime with so many young children that it's a tragedy no matter how you want to look at it. So, folks, I am gobsmacked, if you will. Like, this has been a terrible week for the wrestling industry. This has been a terrible week in a lot of ways for a lot of people. But for us wrestling fans, we've lost two of the greats in a very short amount of time. And also, if anybody knows, be sure to check on Mick Foley. I'm wondering how he's doing because him and Terry were, I mean, just dear friends. And Mick also did everything he could to put the Fiend over. Do you remember? Mick basically came out of retirement just to put the Fiend over. So this has got to be a rough couple of days for Mrs. Foley's baby boy. This is this is the weird part This is the weird part of being a wrestling fan as a millennial because the people from the golden era are all starting to die. Um, they're getting there. And then it's going to be the new generation and the Attitude Era. And that's where we're going here really, really soon. So, folks, like, drop in the comments, what are your favorite memories of these particular wrestlers? Um, that because to me, I'll always regret not going to one of Terry Funk's retirement matches that he was having down in Texas. This is years ago, but there's chances to get tickets. It's like, oh, we should go, and now it's that's why I always say, see the legends if you have a chance. Always see the legends. Now, folks, I hope you will join me here at KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter in the future. KOE Nation, please give me a subscribe. I would love for you to join me on this journey. You can also find us at Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, Big Buck and Empire on YouTube and Facebook. And this interesting journey we call life, we have these are the things that we get together for. Any Ohio Basin State fan. Is Bray Wyatt the first active WWE roster guy to die since? I think he might. This is the first time, because that doesn't happen often. Usually, it's kind of why if you refuse to go to rehab, they usually get you out of the company because then they don't like people dying on the roster. But I don't know. I that one I statisticians be sure to let me know. Um, Tony G. Terry was one of the greatest minds people forget because of his reckless nature. Very true. Very true. And actually, I'm going to read a quick article here by Wrestling Inc. on and from Yahoo Sports on both. Bray Wyatt dead. WWE star and third generation wrestler unexpectedly dies at age 36. Wyndham Rotunda, known to WWE fans as Bray Wyatt since 2012, has died. The news was broken on Twitter by Rotunda's employer, Paul Triple H Levesque, who said he received the news from Rotunda's father. Rotunda was 36 years old. Triple H tweets, just received a call from WWE Hall of Famer Mike Rotunda, who informed us of the tragic news that our WWE family member for life, Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt, unexpectedly passed earlier today. Our thoughts are with his family, and we ask everyone respect their privacy. Rotunda worked in WWE from 2009 to 2021 when he was released. He returned to the company a year later to much fanfare at the Extreme Rules Premier Live event, premium live event, where he began performing an intricate storyline involving a character called Uncle Howdy, portrayed by his brother, former WWE star Bo Dallas, and Alexa Bliss. The story was apparently tabled, however, following Rotunda's match with LA Knight at the 2023 Royal Rumble. Afterwards, Rotunda began a feud with Bobby Lashley prior to WrestleMania 39, but was removed from television due to an undisclosed illness, which was later said to have threatened both his career and his life. Until this news, the worst seemed to have passed. As recently as August 10, wrestling media outlets were reporting that Wyatt was recovering and moving in the direction of being medically cleared to return. Rotunda's televised WWE career began in 2010 when he joined the cast of the original NXT as Husky Harris, competing in the second season of the original reality show format of the program as Husky Harris. He joined the NXT-centric heel stable, The Nexus, on the main roster, but was written off television and sent back to WWE's developmental territory, Florida Championship Wrestling, in 2011. He was repackaged as the sinister cult figure Bray Wyatt in 2012 and was a major part of the rebranded WWE NXT when it functionally replaced FCW, becoming one of the show's most popular acts alongside his cohorts, Eric Rowan and the late Luke Harper, aka the Wyatt family. This incarnation would take him back to the main roster, where his career had numerous ups and downs. Rotunda seemed almost constantly in the act of reinventing himself, a process that culminated in 2019 when he debuted both his Firefly Funhouse segments and his alter ego, The Fiend, who notoriously wrestled under a terrifying mask and obtrusive red lights. Over the course of his career, he won the WWE Championship, the WWE Universal Championship, and 2 Tag Team Championships. So there you go, folks. That is what we know of Rotunda at the moment. Bray Wyatt was one of the best in-ring performers of all time, sticking fresh. Wes J. Ryan. Sad day. His intro with The Fiend was my son's intro into pro wrestling. He still loves to just watch that intro. Such a creative guy. To one of the greatest who had an infinite curling. Truly will be missed. Boy. Any Ohio Boise State fan says, someone check on Eric Rowan as well. Goodness gracious. Yeah, Eric Rowan and uh Braun Strowman. One moment. I promise that's only sinuses. Now we have another one that needs to be read and understood and acknowledged. Yahoo Sports. Professional wrestling legend Terry Funk dies at 79 years old. Professional wrestling legend Terry Funk has passed away. He was 79 years old. Wrestling icons Ric Flair and Mick Foley acknowledged the news Wednesday afternoon. WWE confirmed shortly thereafter. Mick Foley, Terry Funk is gone. I just talked to Terry's daughter, Brandy, who gave me the awful news. He was my mentor, my idol, one of my closest friends. He was the greatest wrestler I ever saw. If you get a chance, look up a Terry Funk match or a Terry Funk promo and give thanks that this incredible man gave so much for so long to so many. There will never be another man like him. May God bless Terry, his friends, family, and all who loved him. R.I.P., my dear friend. It was an honor to know you. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. From Mick Foley. Lord Almighty be with them. Ric Flair tweeted, in my entire life, I never met a guy who worked harder. Terry Funk was a great wrestler, entertainer, unbelievably fearless, and a great friend. Rest in peace, my friend Terry Funk, knowing that no one will ever replace you in the world of professional wrestling. WWE tweeted, WWE is saddened to learn that WWE Hall of Famer Terry Funk has passed away at the age of 79. WWE extends its condolences to Funk's friends, and fans. 1944-2023. Funk, whose in-ring career spans 6 decades, wrestled for nearly every major U.S. wrestling promotion, winning countless championships and earning accolades across the industry. He spent the majority of his early career as a tag team partner with his brother, Dory Funk Jr., working in his father's Western State sports promotion in Amarillo, Texas in the 1960s. As a singles competitor, arguably Funk's biggest career moment came in 1975 when he captured the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in a match against Jack Briscoe. Funk held the prestigious title for more than a year. Funk's victory, combined with Dory Jr.'s title reign years earlier, gave the duo the distinction as the only brothers to both hold the championship. Known primarily as a brawler, Funk's style helped make him and his brother stars both in the US and overseas in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Later in his career, Funk helped pioneer the hardcore style of wrestling during his memorable feud with Ric Flair in World Championship Wrestling. Competing in the International Wrestling Association of Japan Japan's King of the Deathmatch tournament, and eventually joining Extreme Championship Wrestling. Funk had several stints with WWE, the most impactful of which came during the promotion's heralded Attitude Era in the late 1990s, performing initially as Chainsaw Charlie, and then under his actual name. Funk both teamed and feuded with Foley, who also helped popularize hardcore wrestling as Cactus Jack in the 1990s. In fact, Funk and Foley competed in the finals of the aforementioned King of the Deathmatch tournament in 1995. Funk's career continued until 2017 with stints in ECW, WCW, TNA, WWE, All Japan, and various other independent promotions. Funk was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame alongside his brother in 2009. He's also a member of the NWA International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and the George Targos Lou Thez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, among others. Funk won the Iron Mike Mazursky Award from the prestigious Cauliflower Alley Club in 2005. I know I pronounced some of those wrong. I'm sorry. In addition to his professional wrestling career, Funk appeared in several movies and TV shows, including Over the Top, Roadhouse, and stunt work on both Rambo 3 and Rocky 4. Funk's health issues became public in 2021 when wrestling legend Don Morocco revealed that Funk had been suffering from dementia and was in an assisted living facility. His Twitter account later confirmed that he was dealing with multiple health issues. News of Funk's passing sparked an outpouring of emotion from the wrestling world. Dustin Rhodes tweeted, "Just heard that Terry Funk is gone. Truly heartbroken over this. He has known me since I was a child. He was an incredible mentor and friend. Love him so much and sad to see him go. I know he is no longer in pain and has probably rekindled his war with Pops in heaven. Rest easy." Oh, that's beautiful. Ryan Satin, there will never be another Terry Funk. RIP to an icon in wrestling. Like Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com. The beautiful thing about Terry Funk is depending on your age or generation, you quite likely identify him as a completely different list of legendary accolades and moments as someone from another generation. So true. So true. Let's get a few more. The Blue Meanie. A day I wish would never come. Thank you, Terry Funk, for what you did. Thank you for helping ECW. Thank you for being kind to me. I love you. Terry Funk forever. 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 Yes, like that really like Bully Ray, there's no words. God bless Lance Storm. I will say more eventually. This one hits hard. RIP Terry Funk. A pleasure and honor to know you. Respect always. And that's why, folks, I think it is fair to say, to quote the great Terry Funk, you have now gone home in Christ forever, forever, forever. Yes. God bless you, Terry Funk. Resident Evil. How we doing? How we doing there? Rest in peace. Handpick. Wait. So, folks, that is what we know thus far about Terry Funk, about about Bray Wyatt, which is just so sad. Like, I'm sorry, it is just so sad. Uh, like it's Tony G. Beyond the Mat, need to watch again ASAP. Very true, very true. Now there's a couple of things. We weren't really planning on doing this tonight, but it happened. I'm gonna drop a bit of promotion here, folks, because my buddies put together something. This is a link to a show that my friends are gonna do in literally 70 minutes, where they talk about college football. So if that's something that interests you, please check that out over at Big Bucket Empire on YouTube and Facebook. And please give me a subscribe, KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter. Please, it would be marvelous if you did. And folks, I'm going to leave us this evening once again with words of inspiration for you. This is from the Gospel of John, chapter 14, 1 through 6. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may also be. And you know the way to where I am going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. God bless every last one of you folks. God bless the Rotunda and Funk families. May we all pray for them. God bless every last one of you.